T-Mobile has announced a series of moves that it says it will implement if and when it completes its planned merger with Sprint. They include free services for first responders and their organizations, internet access for millions of households with children that currently can't afford it, and a $15 a month service plan that will include 5G service and up to 2 gigabytes of data per month. The announcement was made by CEO John Ledger and COO Mike Sievert.
Welcome, everybody. Mike and I are back with some huge news today. This is an important day for us, for the proposed new T-Mobile, for the wireless industry, and for consumers across the country, because we're here to announce the first Un-carrier moves we plan to make as the new T-Mobile. Yes, I said moves, plural, because we're not just making one announcement today, we've got a lot of news. And more than that, we're making the Un-carrier bigger and bolder after we bring T-Mobile and Sprint together to create the new T-Mobile. For nearly 7 years, the Un-carrier has driven every big change in wireless. But with the new T-Mobile, the Un-carrier can and will mean even more, solving even bigger customer pain points. We'll be able to supercharge our impact and do some truly epic stuff. I'll be candid. This deal to create the new T-Mobile has taken longer than we originally thought it would to close. And some people are still asking questions, the right questions. They want to ensure this deal will drive more innovation, stronger competition, and lower prices. But these people have yet to realize that we want what they want. We're 100% aligned. We will deliver more innovation, stronger competition, and lower prices. In preparation, we've made incredible progress on the merger. And as we've done that, we built the business plan. Mike and I and the whole leadership team have been incredibly inspired. I'm not just talking about the remarkable network we can build, or the ways we can change the game for rural America, or how we can ignite 5G innovation. I'm talking about the ways we can put this network to work doing good for the country, good for consumers, good for competition, good for innovation. And that's why we're calling this set of moves today 5G for Good. We want everyone to see what this supercharged Un-carrier can do with this supercharged Un-carrier network. Frankly, we just couldn't wait any longer to share our plans.
And it all starts with the new T-Mobile network that Neville Ray and team are planning. A network like nothing we've seen before. This map is what our 5G network will become together with Sprint. It's not just 1 + 1 = 2 here. It's 1 + 1 = 14. In the next few years, the new T-Mobile network will have 14 times the capacity of T-Mobile standalone, because it just happens to be that the network assets we have and Sprint has are so perfectly complementary. And when you put them together, we can do remarkable things. What we plan to do with the new T-Mobile network isn't just better, it's also different, really different, especially compared to Verizon's scattershot 5G. That's because T-Mobile is starting by covering 200 million people later this year with a broad 5G foundation on T-Mobile's 600 megahertz spectrum. Did you hear that? This year. We're excited to announce that T-Mobile's 5G launch is slated for December 6th. And when we launch big, straight national, with 200 million people covered on day one. We're starting with 2 great devices available nationwide, the Samsung Note 10 Plus 5G and the OnePlus 7T Pro 5G. And many more mainstream devices are on the way next year. And that is totally different from what the carriers are doing.
You know, AT&T started in 5G by lying to customers. 5GE, it's not a thing. Almost a year later, consumers still can't get real 5G from AT&T. Verizon at least has launched 5G in parts of 15 cities. That's just so adorable. We'll cover more than 5,000 cities and towns across the country with 5G this year. You can find where our coverage is on t-mobile.com. Yes, we have maps, but you can't find where AT&T and Verizon 5G is because they won't tell you. They won't publish 5G maps, and there's a reason they won't. They're embarrassed by just how small their 5G networks are. Instead, Verizon's spending millions advertising about their 5G in, and I quote, parts of the seating areas of a handful of NFL stadiums and concert arenas. Now, think about that for a minute. First, Did you ever think we'd watch one of the biggest, most powerful companies on the planet celebrate the launch of wireless in a building? Not an entire state or even a city, but a friggin' building. And they're acting like this is a huge deal. It works in parts of this building. They're so impressed with themselves. It's just sad to watch. And if the average American is lucky enough to go to one football game in a year in one of these specific stadiums and just happens to be seated in one of these mystery 5G sections, that customer ends up getting about 3 hours of 5G coverage, total, all year long. A whopping 0.03% of their entire year. I did the math. So you pay Verizon more for the 5G phone, more for the 5G plan, and you get 5G coverage 0.03% of your year. That works out to paying about $223 for every hour you'll get a 5G signal, if you're lucky enough to get tickets in a mystery 5G section. And to get out of this dilemma, to launch 5G that actually covers any meaningful area, or hell, 5G that even goes through walls, Verizon will have to steal LTE capacity from existing customers, making their already super congested network even more congested. The carriers painted themselves into a technology corner, and they're trying to advertise their way out of it.
Exactly. Together with Sprint, we're the only ones who can build 5G with breadth and depth, the way it's supposed to be, using all available spectrum bands. When we combine Sprint's mid-band with T-Mobile's low-band and millimeter wave spectrum, we can unlock ridiculous amounts of network capacity, and we can do it quickly. 14 times more than today in just the next few years. It's really simple. This is something we could never do if the merger doesn't happen. And all that capacity means very good things. I mean, just wrap your head around this. The combined new T-Mobile network will be crazy fast, 450 megabits per second fast by 2024. Let me underscore that. LTE speeds today are around 25 to 40 megabits per second. So this network will be more than 10 times faster. Not incrementally faster, not a marginal speed boost. It's like your car going from 60 miles an hour to more than 600 miles an hour. It'll open up so many new use cases for our connected lives. And not only will it be crazy fast, it'll be crazy fast for almost everyone. We'll cover 9 in 10 people in this country with at least 100 megabits per second. Think about that. More than 90% of Americans with 100 megabits per second. That means these speeds won't just be in major cities. They'll be in towns and rural areas all across America. All that capacity means that as the new T-Mobile, we can create new competition in home broadband as well, one of the most uncompetitive industries in existence. And it means rural America will finally have meaningful coverage. Our business plan is built on covering 90% of rural Americans with great service, and it's about time. The best part? The new T-Mobile will have so much capacity and at a lower cost to us that we'll be able to deliver our services with lower prices than ever, which you'll start to see in today's news. We've made concrete commitments to keep prices steady or even lower as we develop 5G. And after that, we've built an entire business plan on competing on price with this incredibly high capacity, lower cost network. In fact, all 3 of today's announcements are made possible by one single thing: massive network capacity. We plan to put it to work, to make a real difference, to change wireless with 5G for good. Today's moves are focused on areas where fast, reliable service can change lives for the most deserving and underserved among us. And to start things off, who's more deserving than our nation's first responders?
Okay, it's really bad.
In times of crisis, the ability to communicate is of of the utmost importance. Being able to know the necessary resources that can respond to a scene to start addressing the emergency is everything.
That's heavy.
Budget allocations are always an issue, especially for first responders. We're constantly doing more with less. It's an interesting challenge where it's technology that's available to everyone that would be beneficial for them, but it's just not affordable. It's making sure that we can get the right technology in the hands of our first responders, making sure that we're putting technology in place that has outcomes that are positive for the community.
We shouldn't have to decide between the tools we need and saving someone's life.
Good boy, Finn, come on! Good boy, Finley!
Our communities face problems today we couldn't even imagine 10 years ago. Natural disasters in greater and greater frequency, an opioid crisis that seems out of control, and increasing gun violence in once safe places. First responders see it all. They fight it all. They help us all. First responders are under more pressure than ever before. With the 5G network new T-Mobile will create, we can do our part to help and say thanks. That's why today, I'm proud to announce our Connecting Heroes initiative, a new 10-year commitment to give free 5G service from the new T-Mobile to our local heroes. We're talking about connecting every public and nonprofit state and local police, fire, and EMS agency and every one of their first responders with unlimited talk, text, and smartphone data with the highest network priority. If all agencies sign up, it's an estimated $7.7 billion back in their budgets over 10 years. Money that can help close the budget shortfall they face year after year after year. Money they can put towards extra pay, life-saving tools, and better support for these brave heroes. All as a result of the tremendous network capacity we can unleash with the new T-Mobile after the merger closes. That is what we mean when we talk about using 5G for good. First responders could have chosen to do anything, but they chose to keep us safe. So this is one way we can say, thank you for your service.
This is the kind of difference this new combined company can make in the world. And while our Connecting Heroes initiative launches with new T-Mobile next year, today every public and nonprofit state, county, or city law enforcement, fire, or EMS organization that's interested can get on the list at t-mobile.com/connectingheroes. Our team will start working with you on a first-come, first-served basis to make sure we're ready to light things up soon after the creation of the new T-Mobile. So please go sign up. And that's just the first multi-billion-dollar investment we've got to announce today. The second part of 5G for Good takes on a massive pain point with an equally massive solution. You know, there are 35 million households in this country with children, and of those, about 15% have no home internet. So kids in those households can't do their homework online, or work on group projects, email teachers, or even keep tabs on their grades. Over time, that lack of access adds up. Kids without home internet score significantly lower on math, science, and reading tests. It's called the homework gap, and it affects millions of kids in this country through no fault of their own, just because they live in a family that can't afford it, or live in a rural community without reliable internet. It's a huge issue, and it's only getting more important, in part because there's no effective competition for home broadband. Almost half, 45% of households, have no choice. That means one or even zero options for high-speed home internet over 100 megabits per second. And that means affordable home internet is simply out of reach for society's most vulnerable, and in a time when full participation in the digital economy requires it. Listen, corporations and nonprofits and governmental bodies far and wide have tried to chip away at the homework gap. We even have our own effort, as does Sprint, and together we've helped over 500,000 kids get connected, which is great, but it's not enough. Our goal should be plain and simple, to connect every single child.
For so many children, home internet access is out of reach, and it's affecting their performance in school.
The homework gap is much bigger than just homework. Students that don't have access to the internet are really at a disadvantage.
I've seen kids that don't have access, and it's really hindered their ability to be a part of the classroom.
They can't keep up. If young people don't have the access, they'll fall through the cracks.
Some kids will have to go to the nearby fast food place to get online because they can't do it at home. It's heartbreaking. It's sad because it doesn't need to be.
Innovative technology should improve the state of humankind. It's not that they don't have the ability to learn. It's that they really don't have the access to the information. And I think that's what we're really responsible for.
When they do have access, they're not at a disadvantage. Tomorrow could be different from today.
Imagine the world that will be available to them just by having a new set of tools that they can live their lives with.
Today, I'm honored to announce Project 10 Million, a program that will connect 10 million households over 5 years for free. This is a $10 billion commitment from the new T-Mobile. That's the opportunity in front of us to connect every single child. Equality of opportunity is one of the most talked about issues in our society today, and education is supposed to be the great leveler in America. If you work hard, you can get ahead. Yet these kids can't. They fall behind just because they can't get online to do the assignment. It's not right, it's not fair, and it's not okay, and we're going to do something about it. With the scale and incredible network capacity of the new T-Mobile, we can do more than just chip away at this problem. We can end the homework gap so that every single child is connected. We plan to use the tremendous capacity of the new T-Mobile to connect every child. Now, I want you to understand the scale of what we're announcing. There are only 125 million households total in this country, and only 35 million with kids. We'll reach nearly 1/3 of households with kids with Project 10 Million. More than enough to ensure that every child is connected. An unprecedented effort at an unprecedented scale. We're not just chipping away at this problem, we're pulling out the friggin' sledgehammer. Because we believe where you live shouldn't determine where you go in life. And your family's income shouldn't determine your outcome.
Project 10 Million includes completely free service, 100 gigs per year, which is more than enough to cover all the year's homework and then some. Plus, it includes free mobile Wi-Fi hotspots and a choice of several tablets or laptops available at our cost for 10 million households. And once it's activated, it's theirs. They keep getting access for 5 years free of charge. And imagine what else this could mean for those families. They'll have access to online training programs and community networks, job postings, and government resources that can be life-changing. Access to the internet means access to opportunity, and the new T-Mobile will open that door for millions.
You know, I love the impact we can have as the new T-Mobile, the kinds of massive pain points we can solve, the kind of good we can do. Again, that is what we mean by using 5G for good. Listen, with this merger, there are still people who have raised questions, as we said earlier, because they're looking out for consumers. They want more innovation, stronger competition, and lower prices. Well, we agree. We want the same things, and we intend to deliver them. So, we're going to give you another example of what we mean by that. Frankly, we'd love to keep this a secret and surprise the hell out of AT&T and Verizon and Comcast and Charter after we launch the new T-Mobile. But people understandably want to know what increased competition and lower prices really looks like. So today, we'll show you. We're announcing a big step we will make with the new T-Mobile. to foster competition, drive down prices, and totally transform the status quo in wireless. Today, we're announcing T-Mobile Connect, our lowest prices ever with the new T-Mobile. We'll slash the price of our lowest cost plan in half. It's just $15 a month for unlimited talk and text and 2 gigabytes of high-speed data. $15, 1-5. Customers will save at least $180 every year. To a low-income family, that can leave room in the budget for school supplies, gas in the tank, car repairs, clothing, and more.
This is going to help so many families who struggle to make ends meet, so they can get connected and stay connected. And we're committing that slashed price will stay slashed for at least 5 years. Not only that, T-Mobile Connect is the first wireless plan that automatically gets bigger and better every year, because we'll introduce something totally new, the annual data upgrade. We know people use more data every year, so with T-Mobile Connect, you pay the same, but you get an additional 500 megabytes of high-speed data per month every year for at least 5 years automatically. In other words, that plan that launches with 2 gigs per month will automatically give you 2.5 gigs per month next year, 3 gigs per month the following year. After 5 years, you'll still pay just $15 a month, but now you're getting more than twice the high-speed data. And if you've got a 5G phone, you can access 5G too. It's included at no extra charge. $15 for 5G. This will be the most affordable plan we've ever offered, and it's designed specifically to help people who are under the most financial pressure. But of course, anyone and everyone will be able to get it. No special qualifications are required. Listen, a pricing move this aggressive is going to completely change the wireless game. The other guys will be forced to respond, and that's going to drive down prices for everyone. It's no wonder AT&T and Big Cable oppose this merger. This is what more competition is all about.
This is just another example of what we've been doing as the Un-carrier for years, changing wireless for good and forcing the industry to follow, sometimes kicking and screaming. That Un-carrier spirit won't be lost. As the new T-Mobile, it'll be supercharged so we can take on even bigger pain points. Because we're building a network with such massive capacity, we'll be able to stick it to AT&T and Verizon and Comcast and Charter like never before, and help wireless consumers like never before. These moves are just a few examples of the kind of difference we plan to make, the kind of company we will be, and the ways we can use 5G for good. Look, I know this has been a lot, so let me quickly recap what the new T-Mobile will do. Move number 1, Connecting Heroes, a 10-year initiative to support all of our nation's first responders with free 5G access. For every single public and nonprofit, state and local, police, fire, and EMS agency, and put up to $7.7 billion back in their budgets. Move 2, Project 10 Million, an unprecedented commitment to connect 10 million households for free, backed by a $10 billion investment. With the resources and scale behind Project 10 Million, we're aiming to do something that's never been dared before, ending the homework gap and ensuring every child in America is connected. And move 3, T-Mobile Connect, $15 for 5G access, our lowest priced plan ever, with half off our lowest price, created to spark price competition and help low-income families across the country. This is the kind of work we'll do as the new T-Mobile. This is 5G for good. This is the Un-carrier supercharged. We're not playing the game, we're changing the game. And of course, we won't stop.
T-Mobile CEO John Legere and COO Mike Sievert speaking in New York. Cooking with the power of the sun. Hi, I'm Fred Fishkin, here to tell you about the latest innovation from my friend Patrick Sherwin and his great team at GoSun Stove. The GoSun Fusion has arrived using the company's tried and true reflectors and a solar vacuum tube to get you cooking without the mess of charcoal, heavy propane tanks, or smoke. A really bright idea. And with an optional solar panel and battery storage and the ability to plug in at home or on the road, you really can use the GoSun Fusion to cook anytime and anywhere, day or night, rain or shine. I love what Patrick and his team are doing, and so will you. Want to learn more? Head to gosun.co to check out all of the company's products and innovations, and use the code Techstination to save 10%. That's gosun.co.